Welcome to War Bios, the podcast where we delve into the lives of history's most renowned military leaders. I'm your host, General Biography. Today, we're going to explore the extraordinary life of Georgy Zhukov, a man who would become one of the most decorated and respected generals in Soviet history. From his humble beginnings in rural Russia to his rise as a leading figure in World War II, Zhukov's story is one of remarkable achievements and challenges that would test his mettle as a commander and a leader. Georgy Konstantinovich Zhukov was born on December 1, 1896, in the village of Strelkovka, which is now part of the Kaluga Oblast in western Russia. His family lived a simple life, with his father working as a shoemaker and his mother managing the household. The young Zhukov grew up surrounded by the rolling hills and dense forests of rural Russia, an environment that would later influence his appreciation for terrain and spatial awareness. As a child, Zhukov was fascinated by stories of military history and strategy, often spending hours listening to his grandfather's tales of the Russo-Turkish War. This early interest in military affairs was fostered by his family, who encouraged his curiosity and provided him with books on the subject. In 1903, at the age of 7, Zhukov began attending the local village school, where he excelled in his studies, particularly in mathematics and geography. In 1911, at the age of 15, Zhukov left school to work as an apprentice to a local furrier, learning the skills necessary to one day take over his father's shoemaking business. However, his true passion remained military history and strategy, and he spent every spare moment reading about the great battles and commanders of the past. This dedication to self-education would serve him well in the years to come, as he navigated the complexities of military life. The outbreak of World War I in 1914 marked a significant turning point in Zhukov's life. He enlisted in the Imperial Russian Army in August 1915 at the age of 18 and was assigned to the 5th Reserve Cavalry Regiment. Over the next several years, he saw action on the Eastern Front, participating in numerous battles against German and Austrian forces. This period of military service had a profound impact on Zhukov, as he witnessed firsthand the horrors of war and developed a deep appreciation for the importance of strategic planning and leadership. During his time in the Imperial Russian Army, Zhukov was wounded twice, once in 1916 and again in 1917. These experiences taught him the value of resilience and adaptability, qualities that would serve him well throughout his military career. As the Russian Revolution gained momentum in 1917, Zhukov found himself caught up in the turmoil, eventually joining the Red Army in 1918. The lessons he learned on the battlefield, combined with his natural aptitude for strategy and leadership, laid the foundation for his latest successes as a commander. His time in the Imperial Russian Army also instilled in him a strong sense of discipline and duty, which would serve him well throughout his military career. The foundation has been laid for a future marked by remarkable achievements and challenges that would test his mettle as a commander and a leader. As Zhukov joined the Red Army in 1918, he quickly distinguished himself as a capable and dedicated soldier. He participated in several key battles during the Russian Civil War, including the defense of Petrograd against the White Army in 1909. This experience not only honed his military skills, but also deepened his commitment to the Soviet cause. In 1920, Zhukov was appointed commander of a cavalry squadron, marking the beginning of his ascent through the ranks. The interwar period saw Zhukov undergo significant professional development. He attended the Fruins Military Academy in Moscow from 1929 to 1930, where he studied alongside other future Soviet leaders, including Konstantin Rokossovsky and Ivan Bagramyan. This education broadened his understanding of military strategy and tactics, preparing him for higher command roles. In 1937, Zhukov was appointed commander of the 3rd Cavalry Corps, a position that would test his leadership skills in the face of significant challenges. The following year, he led his corps to victory in the Battle of Khalkhin-Gol against Japanese forces, demonstrating his ability to adapt and innovate on the battlefield. This success caught the attention of Soviet leaders, including Joseph Stalin, who began to see Zhukov as a potential key player in the country's military leadership. The German invasion of Poland in September 1939 marked the beginning of World War II, and Zhukov's role in the conflict would soon become pivotal. In January 1941, he was appointed Chief of the General Staff, overseeing the strategic planning and coordination of Soviet military efforts. This position allowed him to apply his deep understanding of strategy and tactics to the broader war effort, making critical decisions that would impact the outcome of the war. One of Zhukov's most significant contributions during this period was his role in planning and executing the defense of Moscow during the winter of 1941–1942. As German forces approached the city, Zhukov coordinated a series of counterattacks that ultimately repelled the invaders, marking a crucial turning point in the war on the Eastern Front. This victory not only saved Moscow, but also demonstrated the resilience and determination of the Soviet people. The Battle of Stalingrad in 1942–1943 was another defining moment for Zhukov. He played a key role in planning the Soviet counterattack that encircled and defeated the German Sixth Army, leading to one of the most significant defeats suffered by Nazi forces during the war. This victory marked a major shift in momentum on the Eastern Front, as Soviet forces began their long march towards Berlin. Throughout 1943 and 1944, Zhukov continued to lead Soviet forces to key victories, including the Battle of Kursk, which saw the largest tank battle in history, and the liberation of Ukraine. His strategic genius, combined with his ability to inspire loyalty and confidence among his troops, made him an indispensable leader on the battlefield. As the war drew to a close, Zhukov's reputation as one of the greatest generals of World War II was solidified. He accepted the German surrender in Berlin on May 8, 1945, a moment that marked the culmination of years of sacrifice and struggle for the Soviet people. The respect and admiration he earned from his peers and the Soviet leadership would follow him for the rest of his career. Following the end of World War II, Zhukov's reputation as a brilliant military strategist and leader was at its peak. He was appointed Commander-in-Chief of the Soviet Ground Forces in 1946, a position that allowed him to play a key role in shaping the Soviet military during the early years of the Cold War. However, his relationship with Joseph Stalin began to deteriorate, and in 1947, he was demoted to commander of the Odessa military district. Despite this setback, Zhukov continued to serve the Soviet Union with distinction. After Stalin's death in 1953, Zhukov played a crucial role in the power struggle that followed, supporting Nikita Khrushchev's rise to power. In 1955, he was appointed Minister of Defense, a position that gave him significant influence over Soviet military policy. As Minister of Defense, Zhukov oversaw a series of reforms aimed at modernizing the Soviet military and improving its effectiveness. He also played a key role in the development of the Soviet Union's nuclear deterrent, recognizing the importance of nuclear weapons in the Cold War era. However, his tenure as Minister of Defense was marked by controversy, particularly over his handling of the Hungarian Revolution in 1956. In 1957, Zhukov was dismissed as Minister of Defense and expelled from the Central Committee of the Communist Party. He spent the remainder of his life in relative obscurity, although he continued to receive honors and recognition for his wartime service. In 1969, he began work on his memoirs, which would eventually be published in 1974. Throughout his life, Zhukov remained committed to the Soviet Union and its ideals, despite the challenges and controversies he faced. His legacy as one of the greatest generals of World War II remains unparalleled, and his contributions to the development of the Soviet military continue to be studied by historians and strategists around the world. His story serves as a reminder of the importance of leadership, strategy, and sacrifice in times of war, and his legacy continues to inspire and educate us today. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.